Hello, my name is Gio. I'm the founder of San Francisco Community Nights. This is our first podcast with my co-host Kevin. I'm excited to introduce our facilitators for our next community event.
For this very first episode of the San Francisco Community Nights podcast, we are doing a deep dive into desire. Somatic coaches Justina Lydia and Christina Shang help us answer the tough questions like, how do we get in touch with our desire? What stops us from feeling our desire? Christina and Justina, who also goes by JJ, are holding a special workshop called Desire Lab.
So it is Tuesday, September 30th on Heart Lab, and you can get your tickets at sfcommunitynights.com, and you can subscribe and see what other events we have as well.
We kick off this episode of the San Francisco Community Nights podcast with how a simple question launched Christina into her journey of personal transformation.
At some point, I realized that I dreaded the question, what do you want? And what I discovered later was that I had a pattern where I hid what I wanted from other people and also from myself. When I was looking at, I'm hungry for this, I'm craving this, I'm longing for this, those are things I don't have. Hiding what I want from other people, because sort of in this traditional Asian upbringing, it's there was a lot that was kind of taught to me about these are the things you should want. As I really unraveled and untangled those things, it really helped me create new relationship with what I want or desire as fuel, as a compass. And so that's something that I am really excited to bring other people. And I think this is something, what came to mind as we were thinking about this is how do you feel about salivating in front of someone? And not salivating, just even eating some delicious food, but something in your life, and you're showing people around you, you're salivating. That is the kind of, experiences that we don't have as much, I think we want to have in our life, whether it's with your friends, with your partners, you want to feel them salivating for something. You want them to feel you salivating for something. So those are the kind of things that, that I found as part of that journey, and really excited to share with other people and
That
share
is
with JJ.
so beautiful. I was looking at JJ when you, Christina, were saying about the salivation part, and her eyes just lit up. She came so alive, and I can just visualize this image of me talking to someone about something I really desire, where I'm physically, there's this physical reaction. And what came to me immediately is the sense of shame or, I've never done this.
Yeah. So I love that, because you might be that brings up shame. And then, you see, wait, but that's lighting someone up so much. And in a group space, right, then you get to move into those different places with other people. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to that embodied experience of challenging those stories that you might have about a particular experience and seeing what else is possible and accessible and just moving from there.
Is there a salivating exercise in your workshop?
Yeah. So there is a salivating exercise. We hope you'll be there, Kevin, so you can experience it in person. I think part of it is also being a experimental place where we're having one-on-one exercises and group exercises where people can try things that they can't just try necessarily with people they know already, or they don't want to do that, but they can come into that workshop where people are ready to do something different and, no mistakes, no failures, just play.
But is this a workshop where you would recommend to bring a friend or to recommend not to bring a friend?
I think either. Yeah, I don't think there's. Yeah. I think either could be really fun. I think if you bring a friend, you could discover places that that might be hard to try to engage them in separately, without the tools or without that context. So that could be really fun for yourself. Yeah, what do you think, JJ?
Yeah, I was going to say there's so much to desire that, oftentimes when we hear the word desire, maybe there is a sexual romantic connotation. And I think that there's so much more that's available and accessible just simply in being in the exploration of what is the present moment that we are here and are wanting to co-create together and be in that negotiation of, oh, this feels really exciting for me. Like, how do you feel about that? And then from that place, opening ourselves to, well, maybe this does not feel like something that I'm fully yes to. So no, but how about this thing? And like seeing that as a gateway to really connecting with what feels exciting and enlivening for us. And then finding a spot where there's an experience that we get to create together more fully by revealing maybe vulnerable spots or maybe just like pure joy and excitement.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. What you were saying is having that space where someone could say no to you and you're experimenting with them new or different ways of finding a mutual yes. So I think a lot of times in our daily life, it's just kind of a high stakes, high risk. I have to hone my ask perfectly. So it's going to go in, it's going to be a yes. So we're also practicing it can be a no. And what are all the different things that can come out of that?
Yeah, like treating no as a data point, like no to this and maybe yes to something else.
Yeah.
And really being grateful for those places where our friends or loved ones get to say no to us because that gives us information and more clarity of what are the other places where they might be a yes to.
I was just wondering if you had any kind of, I guess, everyday advice for tapping into one's desire.
Just finding that moment of slowness and stillness with myself where maybe I disconnect with all of the information that's going on around, my phone, all the notifications, and just slow down and listen to what would feel nourishing to me right now. And there's definitely a practice in meeting myself first, in finding my own desire, my own wants, and my own need, and giving that to myself before even moving to doing that in connection. So there's this attunement to what feels alive and where do I feel sensation, and this like tapping into my body and moving from that place. Would you add anything?
I think one practice that we will do more extensively in lab is connecting with what is my mouth say hungry for, and just maybe sweet, salty, foods or sensations, to what is my heart hungry for, and then moving down, what is my gut hungry for? Because those can be different things in any given moment. And to what is my hips, sexual organs, my seat, my root hungry for. So that's a really great practice you could do at any time.
I think three of us are immigrants. And, like even Kevin is kind of like a first generation immigrants. And I know there's a lot of our community, they're also either like first generation immigrants or, they are immigrant themselves. And I know that this is generalization, but in different parts of the world, desire is not something that is usually celebrated. It's usually repressed or, like shoved in the back. It's as not something important. So I'm very excited for all the exercises that you guys are gonna bring and explore with the community. I would love for us to wrap this up and ask, is there anything that people need to be prepared before the event? Is there anything that they need to do or bring, or how would you want them to arrive to the event?
Yeah, bring yourselves and bring your curiosity, bring your excitement to play, to experiment with something new. Yeah.
and wear something that makes you feel fabulous and comfortable.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, is there an online space that people can look you up to get to know more about you?
I can go first. I'm Justina Lydia, a somatic coach. You can find more about me and schedule a clarity session at justinalydia.com.
And I am Christina Shang. I am a coach and I work with individuals and couples who are feeling stuck in some sort of pattern and who want to break out of that. And you can find me at christinashang.com.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Kevin and Gio.
Yeah, thank you so much.